The Raiders have multiple strong offers right now. The risk that they run if they let this go beyond Monday is that some of those teams that have made strong offers may decide, you know what, they really might not trade this guy. We're going to deploy our resources, whether that's draft picks and other trades, whether that's cash and cap devoted to free agents, on other players. We already saw that happen potentially once with the Buffalo Bills, one of the three teams I mentioned last week when we talked about Maxx Crosby as a potential fit. They just traded a second-round pick for DJ Moore and a fifth, essentially a third-round value. But and they're paying him over $20 million this year. It doesn't mean the Bills are out on Maxx Crosby, but certainly they didn't make things any easier here. The Dallas Cowboys, from my understanding, are certainly still engaged on a Maxx Crosby trade. I would say the Baltimore Ravens are another logical fit. The Chicago Bears, another team I mentioned last week, certainly would make sense, and they could use an edge rusher. Part of the issue right now is just that the Raiders, and this could change as soon as today, have not really moved to bring this to a head. Usually the way these things work out in the end, when you're talking about the top line trades, is ultimately, whether at the onset or as it's getting close, the team trading the player or with the player that the teams are trying to trade for is going to say, okay, this is what the price is. If you're not here, you're not in the game. We're bringing it to a head right now. The Raiders haven't done that. They've essentially made teams bid against themselves, just saying, well, what you're offering is not enough. Well, what's the price? Well, there's been other trades. Here's what they've bid. Okay, but what's your price? That's where teams haven't been able to get necessarily a straight answer to this point. I do think this is a critical 72 hours, 48 hours even, for the Raiders, Maxx Crosby, and the potential trade partners, not just because of what I mentioned, that come Monday at noon Eastern, teams may deploy their resources elsewhere, but also because we don't know how Maxx Crosby might react if we get close to free agency and he's still a member of the Raiders. We've seen what the Raiders have said publicly. We know that they have gotten calls. They have not really made calls about Maxx Crosby. We have not heard anything from Maxx Crosby other than, frankly, the high road. He has not said, I want out of Vegas publicly. He has not said anything negative about the organization. But certainly there have been plenty of reports, including from me. He has been frustrated with the constant change. He certainly was frustrated with being shut down for the final two games last season. And I don't know if this would happen, but if at some point he's not been traded and that frustration reaches a level that he decides to start saying things publicly that are disadvantageous to the Raiders, that could change the entire complexion of that relationship as well as the way that the marketplace sees him. We're not to that point yet. We may get to that point. But as of now, the Raiders do have multiple strong offers they're considering. We'll see if they decide ultimately to bring this to a head. If it's going to happen, I would say the next 48 to 72 hours would make sense